my screen. Sorry for the delay. I am sharing my screen. All of you, please tell me whether my screen is visible or not. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So today we will learn about Telnet, Terminal Network and SSH, the secure shell. Does anyone have any idea about Telnet? What is Telnet? Does anyone have any idea about Telnet? Anyone have ever heard the term Telnet? It is a term which is used in network. Since cybersecurity is security over a network, so we need to understand some protocols used for security purposes over network. Let me. Actually, Telnet is an application protocol used on the internet or local area network to provide a bidirectional, interactive, text-oriented communication facility using a virtual connection. User data is interspersed means distributed in band with telnet control information in an 8-byte oriented data connection over the TCP. Telnet provided access to command line interface on a remote host. However, because of serious security concerns, when using Telnet over an open network, its use for this purpose has warned significantly in favor of SSH. SSH is secure shell. The term telnet is also used to refer to the software that implants the client part of the protocol. Telnet client applications are available for virtually. That means telnet are used over an open network such as internet. Its use for the purpose has waned significantly. Waned means its use for the purpose has increased significantly in favor of SSH. The term telnet is also used to refer to the software that implants the client part of the protocol. Telnet client applications are available for virtually all computer platforms. Wait, let me go to next slide. Terminal network or telnet. This is the diagrammatic representation of telnet. Okay. The term telnet is also used to refer to the software that implants the client part of the protocol. That means client part of the protocol is implemented with the help of telnet. Telnet client applications are available for virtually all computer platforms. This is the formal definition of telnet, standard TCP/IP protocol that runs at application layer of a network. The telnet protocol provides a standardized interface through which a program on one host The telnet client may access the resources of another host known as telnet server, as though the client were a local terminal connected to the server. Telnet is a protocol for remote login. Remote login means you can log in to a machine which is not situated or which is not present at your end. Maybe the machine is there at some remote end and the user is able to access it with the help of telnet. The telnet client uses an ephemeral port number. Ephemeral port number, it is nothing but a port number. I think each and every one of you is aware about the port number. It is a type of address, you can say. Port number, while server uses port number 23 of TCP. How does telnet work? A user is logged into the local system and invokes a telnet program. Telnet program is telnet client by typing telnet xxx.xxx.xxx, where xxx is either a host name or an IP address. It is an IP address. I think you know the IP address is in the form of aaa.bbb.ccc. So this is the general form of telnet. Also, there is telnet client and telnet server. Both are present. Now let me share my whiteboard. I want to share my whiteboard so that I can write something. Is my whiteboard visible to you all? I think
Yes, ma'am.
yes, it is visible. So write telnet client then with telnet client I will join telnet server with telnet server. There are three types of facilities or telnet server serves for three types of facilities. One is access control. Second is user application. User application. And third one is, what is the third one? Third one is server control. So from telnet server, access control, user application and server control is connected. What is access control? Wait. Access control. Access and multi-user interface, access and multi-user interface. Access control means what is the job? It is used for accessing the job and for multi-purpose. Okay. Now, for user application, I will write user callbacks, and with server control there is control interface. So this is the diagram. With telnet client, access control, user application and server control is linked. Is the diagram clear to you all? This shows the functionality of telnet client and telnet server. Also one thing, telnet client and telnet server are connected with the help or they follow TCP. Telnet is one of the earliest remote logging protocols on the internet. It was initially released in the early days of IP networking in 1969 and was for a long time the default way to access remote network computer. It is a client server protocol that provides the user a terminal session to the remote host from the terminal client application. Since the protocol provides no built-in security measures, it suffers from serious security issues that have limited its usefulness in environments where the network cannot be fully trusted. The use of telnet over the public internet should be avoided due to the risk of eavesdropping. There is a risk of eavesdropping, so it is avoided. Now, we will talk about telnet session between client and server. Here also client and server is shown. The telnet session between the client and the server is not encrypted. Anyone with access to TCP IP packet flow between the communicating host can reconstruct the data that flows between the endpoint and read the messaging, including the username and password that are used to log in to the remote machine. This network attack requires very little expertise and can be performed without network debugging tools. So these are the telnet security problem that we are talking about. Now let us go back to our slide. I will again share my slide. In general, a telnet is implemented as a master server with some number of slave server. Can any one of you tell me just wait for a minute. Wait. So in general, a telnet server is implemented as a master server with some number of slave server. The server listens for service requests from client. When it hears one, it spawns a slave server to handle that specific request. Can anybody tell me what is master server and what is slave server? Anyone have any idea? There are two types of server. One is master server and another is slave server. Does anyone have any idea? I think all of you have read networking earlier. In our previous semesters, you have read. Please go through the concept. Go through the concept of master server and slave server and what are the jobs that they are performing, or what is the role they do, they are involved in. Okay, this is a task. In the next class I will ask. The master server listens for service requests from client. When it hears one, it spawns a slave server to handle that specific request, while the master goes back to listening for more requests. The NVT, Network Virtual Terminal. With the help of NVT, two hosts can communicate with the help of Telnet. The biggest difficulty is the heterogeneity of the terminal and operating system that must be supported. All do not use the same control character for the same purposes. To accommodate this heterogeneity, Network Virtual Terminal (NVT) was introduced. Any user telnetting in to remote site is deemed to be on an NVT, regardless of the actual terminal type being used. I will like to explain this with the help of a diagram. Let me draw again. I will draw two hosts, host A and host B. Wait. Host A, host B. So these are two hosts, host A and host B. And both the hosts, the negotiation occurs between both the host. This is called negotiations. How does they negotiate? They negotiate with the help of NVT. Sorry. This is the way of the negotiations is being done. Both of them interact with network virtual terminal. So this is the way the two hosts communicate with Telnet. Telnet provide users with bidirectional, interactive, test-oriented communication system utilizing a virtual terminal connection over 8 bytes. User data is interspersed in band with Telnet control information over the TCP. Once Telnet is activated, the domain name or internet protocol address of the server to which we connect. Okay. Can anyone tell me any of the telnet command? Does anyone know any telnet command? Deepak, do you know any of the telnet command? Shornali, can you tell me any of the telnet command? Very commonly used telnet commands. Logout. Logout is one of the standard and commonly used telnet command. It ends the current telnet session as long as the remote host supports the logout options. Then there is mode type, specifies the transmission type. Mode type is also a telnet standard command. And what is the job? It specifies the transmission type, whether the transmitted file is a text file or a binary file. Open hostname, build an additional connection to the selected host on top of the existing connection. These are the few commands I have given you an example. So let us return back to my slide. Look, this was the diagram I was trying to explain. NVT, negotiations, and then there is telnet. Telnet, it falls under TCP IP. And then there is operating system. Okay. This is the diagrammatic representation I have already explained. Disadvantages of telnet. What are the different disadvantages of telnet? Does anyone have any idea? Have any of you ever heard about telnet? Advantages, disadvantages of telnet. I'm not getting any answer. I am not getting any answer. Sneha Shah, have you ever heard? Rishika Singh? Amrita Mojumdar?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever heard about telnet?
Yes.
Please be loud and clear. I am not able to listen. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
You have heard? So can you tell me about any of the advantages of telnet, or should I explain? If you cannot, you can say no.
Advantages.
Please be a bit louder. I couldn't listen you properly. Hello?
Ma'am, telnet. Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
you're audible.
Yes, ma'am. Telnet client is versatile. It is the advantage. I know.
Okay, this is one of the advantages. Okay, fine. Fine, okay, Amrita, thank
Ma'am,
you.
please.
You want to, yeah. So advantages are telnet client is versatile. It can be used across cross-platform, unlimited access to target resources. What are the disadvantages? Unencrypted data exchange. Full access makes it easier for hackers. Only few server can be reached via telnet. You cannot run GUI tools over a telnet connection. Telnet is a character-based communication protocol. It is not designed to transmit cursor movement or cursor movement or graphical user interface information. It means GUI information. It is not designed to transfer. That means cursor movement and GUI information cannot be transmitted through telnet. Because of this, you can only run command line programs, shell commands, script, batch files over a telnet connection. Does any one of you have any idea about batch file? Ever heard about batch file? Batch file is a very basic term which students learn in their first year, I think. Does any one of you have any idea about batch file? What is a batch file? You must have learned in operating system. All of you, please try to interact in class. Don't stay silent. Who is writing in chat? Let me see. Full access makes it easier to hack. Deepak, there must be, maybe there is a network issue. Batch files are the files which are processed in a batch. They are collected together and they are processed in a batch. Finally, we come to secured cell, SSH. It is a protocol, not a product. Software-based approach to network security. It encrypts the data sent between the computers. SSH is a client-server architecture. Comes with all Linux distribution, Mac OS, Sun Solaris, OpenBSD, and other Unix terminal. Ported to other operating systems such as Windows, Palm OS, Amiga, etc. Other clients such as SCP, SFTP are also possible. Replacement for Telnet, RLogin, RSH, RCP, FTP, etc. These are the several replacements. I think all of you also heard about SSH also. In networking, you must have heard what is SSH. Secure Shell is a network communication protocol. It is a network communication protocol that enables two computers to communicate. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is the protocol used to transfer hypertext such as web pages and share data. It is a cryptographic network. We can say in other terms, we can explain it as cryptographic network protocol for operating network services securely over an unsecured network. So SSH is generally used to access Unix-like operating system, but it can also be used on Microsoft Windows. So Windows 10 uses OpenSSH as a default SSH client and SSH server. Okay, now we go to next slide. This is about SSH layers. There are different layers of SSH. What are the different layers? application layer, transport layer, internet layer, and network access layer. These are the different types of layers that are presented there. SSH connection, session multiplexing, X11, and port forwarding. User authentication using public key, password, host-based, etc. See, one is for SSH connection. Next is for after connecting, there is a requirement of authorization, and after that SSH transport. Then once the connection is established, then there is a need for transport. Okay. So a transport layer is TCP, internet layer IP, network access layer Ethernet. Okay. So these are the different diagrams or layers of SSH. If you have any confusion, you can ask. What are the different features of SSH? Different features of SSH are strong encryption, strong authentication, authorization, integration, integrity of communication, and forwarding or tunneling. These all are the features. Okay. If there is any confusion, you can ask. So SSH will protect against eavesdropping of data transmitted over the network, manipulation of data at intermediate elements in the network, IP address spoofing, where an attack host pretends to be a trusted host by sending packets with the source address of the trusted host. DNS spoofing of trusted host names or IP addresses, and IP source routing. What is IP spoofing? Can anyone know what is DNS spoofing? DNS spoofing. If not, please try to ask question. If all of you don't know what is DNS spoofing, then at least ask. DNS spoofing, referred to as DNS cache positioning, is a form of computer security hacking in which corrupt domain name system data is introduced into DNS resolver cache, causing the name server to return an incorrect result record. So this is the definition of DNS spoofing. These are some points where SSH protocol will not work. SSH will not protect against incorrect configuration or usage, a compromised root account. If you log in from a host to a server and an attacker has control of root on either side, he or she can listen to the session by reading from pseudo terminal devices, even though SSH is encrypted on the network. SSH must communicate in clear text with terminal device. Insecure home directories. If an attacker can modify files in the home directory, he may be able to fool SSH. That is all for today. If there is a